Hello and good Tuesday, March 6th. I'm Joanne and this is Rocketboom. We just couldn't wait till tomorrow to bring you today. And one of the reasons we love field reports from Bre so much is because when he has a good idea, he just goes for it. And today, the sky is no limit. Bre, no denying the excitement in the air, eh?
We're going to be sending a balloon into space with a bunch of cameras on it. This is really exciting. Dogs have been into space, and monkeys have been into space, and people have been into space, and I decided I wanted to go into space. And so after talking over with some friends, we decided we could do this. We could go into space. We could launch something and get it up there. And the way you do it is you get a weather balloon, which is made out of latex, and you fill it up with helium, and you attach a payload to it, and it goes up, and it goes up and up and up and up and up, and as it goes up, the atmosphere gets thinner, and the balloon actually expands until finally it gets so high up and so expanded that it pops, and then it comes back down, and hopefully the parachute catches, and it floats on down. And the thing that we're doing that's really cool is that we're sending up a payload of cameras. We're sending up 4 really nice but very tiny cameras that are all shaped in a circle so that they're going to take pictures as a panorama, and we're going to have these like 20 megapixel awesome photos that are like going to be like humongous. They're going to be so cool, and we're going to take one like every 7 or 8 seconds, and so we'll actually be able to string the whole thing together as a movie, and it's very exciting. Nobody's done this kind of photography in space before.
So our primary means of keeping track of this is using a ham radio based setup. It utilizes a GPS here, which effectively just reads satellite information. This GPS in particular is actually good above 60,000 feet, which is important for ballooning activities. Most GPSs will not operate above that altitude. That communicates with a tiny track, which is a PIC-based microprocessor, which then sends down an audio signal on 2 meter, which is 144.39 megahertz, at 1200 baud to all of these APRS stations that pick up our signal and relay it back to us over the internet. So while we are primarily going to be directly receiving the communication, ham radio operators all over the Northwest region are also going to be watching our balloon, so that should be pretty fun.
Well, I am working on 2 backup trackers for the payload, based on this Motorola i45 mobile phone that we got off eBay for like 40 bucks.
What does it do?
So what it does, the phone has a built-in GPS antenna, and there's a really cool program called MoloGoGo that's been developed. You can install on a lot of these Java-enabled phones that accesses the GPS and then uploads the position of the phone to either the MoloGoGo website or to any PHP-based web server that you've got running, like we've done. So it's pretty neat. It's a neat way to track it. And we'll be putting one on board the payload that should tell us where it is once it gets back down into cell phone coverage range on its way back down. This is the phone as you can buy it, but it's a little on the heavy side. I managed to strip off about, I think, 2 ounces off of the total 5-ounce weight by removing the case and basically just zip tying everything together. The program that we've installed on it doesn't actually have much of a user interface, and it runs on boot. So once we verify that the program is running, we can actually remove the keypad, and we can remove the display and lighten the payload even more at that point. We've also attached some long leads here. This is for the cell phone antenna, and this guy over here is for the GPS antenna, so we can place the antennas on the outside of the payload box so that they're not interfered with by the all of the insulation that's on the inside.
So working on making the Make controller program the cameras to take pictures at a 7-second interval, as well as take the internal and external temperature readings, and it's just a little bit of extra code to send a signal out to the cameras to make the shutter flash, and the cameras will store the pictures locally, and then the temperature will be stored on the Make controller's EEPROM, so that even if it does come tumbling down to Earth, we should be able to retrieve the data. And the 4 LEDs you saw count down is actually debugging information. When it hits all 4, it takes a picture, so we can figure out what the best interval is to take the pictures at, as well as we can correlate it to our flight time.
Okay, so we have a thermistor here, and we are going to try to figure out what the temperature is in the payload as it's going up into space. And the way to do that is actually reverse. So we're going to take voltage readings from within the payload onto the make controller, right?
Yes.
From the make controller. So we're going to take voltage readings as it goes up, and from that we're going to reverse figure out what the temperature is. The temperature will be going down as it goes up.
I am building the radar reflector. Well, it's all done and ready to fly and reflect radar.
The radar reflector is something you have to put on your amateur balloon. It's part of the FAA guidelines for amateur ballooning. Now, there's a lot of rules and you're going to want to learn all about them. We've got links to all the different rules on our wiki.
I'm working on the secondary release circuit, and basically what it's going to do is if the balloon doesn't pop, this is going to cut the payload and make sure that we don't present a hazard to any aircraft in the area. The plan is to use a kitchen timer to shunt a large amount of current through a very small resistor, getting the resistor really hot, which will cut the cord that is supporting the payload. Now if I can just get it to work.
You could do this if we can do this.